Right?
Yeah, Tom Jacket, he's now married. Yeah, little jackets one day. There'll be a tribe of jackets in the Bayside area.
And the hooligans. I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah, they'll be super cute.
Thanks, mate. That's inferring that I'm cute. Or are you talking about Amy?
Well, Amy's beautiful. You're ruggedly handsome.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
I'm neither.
So like last week, we kept it as one thought.
Yes, the thought bubble. What did we talk about last week?
We talked about stories we tell ourselves.
Oh, yes.
And so this week, we're talking about turning your passion into a career.
Into your career.
Because it's fair to say you've executed that.
Yes.
You're living your passion and getting paid for it.
Yes.
And so that's bloody awesome.
Yeah. Well, I have. I think one of the interesting things about this is that, you know, when it comes to career, they always say, you know, when your job is your passion, you'll never work a day in your life. Well, you know, it's kind of true, but there are still parts that are, even when you do what you love, like you're a speaker or you're a writer or you're an entertainer of some sort, you do media, there's still stuff that you do that's not a heap of fun. But it's, you know, for the most part, the stuff that I do, I love. I enjoy coaching people. I love doing bits and pieces like this with you. I love doing radio. I love standing in front of audiences. But there's lots of, you know, it's like you fly all over the country and people go, oh, that's glamorous. Well, it's not really glamorous because you're in airports and you're in taxis and you're in hotels and it's, you know, the kind of novelty wears off. But I think for the most part, that if you can do something that is essentially your passion, then, you know, life's better. But the other thing too, I think, is that what floats your boat can change over time.
Yeah.
You know, so there was a time when you were doing breakfast radio, and maybe there's a point in that journey where you're going, how awesome is this? I'm sitting in a studio with an awesome chick, we're doing radio, headphones, we got listeners, we got callers, come back in, on Tommy Jacket, you know, and then after a while, the novelty wears off, maybe, and you go, It's like with me when I was owning gyms. There's a point where you go, I own gyms. I have staff, I have people, I have a PA, I have this brand that's growing and it's awesome and it's amazing. Then after a while, you know, you change and the things that resonate or work for you kind of change as well.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, quite a lot of us, especially now, a lot of us will have a few careers, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 careers. But back in the day, you know, like when my dad was younger, he started working in the mid to late 50s. Most people, not everyone, but most people get a job in an industry or you get a profession. And for a lot of them, that was what they did. They did that for 30, 40 years. Yeah. And you do that till you stop doing it and then you retire. Whereas now, especially with technology, you know, some people not only have different jobs or different careers, they might have 3 or 4 careers in a decade, they might even have 2 or 3 careers at the same time.
Yeah. So if you're working in a cubicle, and that's usually kind of the setting that people put out there, you work in a cubicle, you're not doing what you want to do, and you want to escape the cubicle. It's so hard when you're in a job that you hate.
Sure.
Like it is, I've done them. And I've done everything to avoid them moving forward.
What's the job you hated the most? The job that was the most mentally and emotionally toxic for you?
Oh, it was only when I was 18, a landscaper.
Right.
So, but I just hated that I had no creativity in it. I was getting told what to do, you know, move the barrow. More just that I was just a cog in a wheel, which was the business that I was working in.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It was an escape plan of school. But moving forward, personal training, I liked it. It felt less like a job. It started to change in the other way when I got another focus, which was media. Yeah. And then I got radio and the same thing happened, like you said.
Yeah.
Got down the, you know, like, so I've always adapted, but for people, and I've worked in cafes in between that stuff, like when times haven't been as amazing.
Yeah.
But that sucks.
But so, not that those are all individual careers, but you've had like 4, 5, 6, 7 different jobs.
Oh, totally.
In different spheres.
Yeah. You know, it's hard to, like, I always think, because I just quit, like I've quit jobs and gone to do and found and had no other plan but to succeed in that area.
Yeah, and that was good for you, clearly, But that's not always good for people because here's the thing. It's like, even with me, my life is pretty good and I get paid pretty well for what I do. But I have virtually no stability in that I don't know how much I'll earn next week or next month because all of my work is booking based. It's not like I clock in and clock off at this time and that time. So I don't have holiday pay, I don't have sick pay, I don't have a lot of the benefits that people have that work for an organisation. But at the same time, I don't have a wife and 3 kids in private schools, and so I have the flexibility and the scope to be able to go, fuck it, if I make that much this week or that much this week, it's okay. But then, so what you're kind of talking about is people that are, in inverted commas, trapped, or they feel trapped doing something that's unrewarding, unfulfilling, unenjoyable.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
Well, the challenge then is to get clarity about what you do want to do, right? So the problem is for a lot of people, they hate what they do, but they don't actually know what they do want to do.
Yeah.
Like they don't have total certainty and clarity about where they want to be in their career or what success looks like for them. And so that's the starting point. And, you know, we know that bitching is not a plan, right? So, you know, if you want your life to be different in a year, then you don't need to figure it out by tonight or tomorrow, but you start the wheels turning. So, and this is one of the things I do with people quite often in the coaching space is where, all right, well, you hate where you are. What do you like? What do you, I don't know what I want to do. Well, do you want to work indoors or outdoors? Oh, never even thought about that. I'd love to work outdoors. Well, that cuts out 1 million jobs that are indoors. So let's look at shit that you can do outdoors. Like what are the possible, what else? Well, like I'm into nature. Cool. Well, that kind of narrows it down a fair bit. So let's explore things. You know, maybe you're going to work on a golf course as a curator, or maybe you're going to be a wildlife officer, or maybe you're going to work at the zoo, or maybe you're going to whatever, you know what I mean? Maybe you'll have your own landscaping business that Tommy hated. He'll sell you his cheap.
Yeah.
You know,
make a video for you, but
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just getting clarity about what for you works, because as we know, like if you said to me, like one of my favorite things is to be on stage in front of big audiences. That's one of my favourite things. For most people, that would be their most terrifying thing.
Yeah.
Or for a lot of people, that would be terrifying, the thought of that. One of my friends is a masseur, and so probably does 40 massages a week. Ooh. And so that's a lot of work. And she loves it, and she's great at it, and she's got this gift for it, and da-da-da. Well, I did a diploma years ago, and it was called tactile therapy, and you know, so it was massage, and it was a 1.5 years, and it was quite a decent course, right? I got qualified. I did about 3 massages and went, fuck massage. It's hard, you know. It's like it's hard, and people are smelly, and nah, fuck it. You know, for me, I couldn't think of any. I don't know why I did the course, but it kind of appealed to me until I started. I did more than 3, but it just didn't do it for me. But for her, it's her best job.
Yeah.
You know, so it's trying to figure out what your best job would be, or what you think, and then do anything to create momentum to move towards that. Yeah. Have a conversation, talk to a person, inquire about some courses, do some field work. I'll give you a quick story. So when I was 18, 19, I was really, my dad's an artist and I'm not artistic, but I have some design skills, right? And back in the day, I wanted to print some shirts and I wanted to do a few things, so screen printing, and I had a couple of things on the go, and I thought, I think I'd be all right at that because I was quite good at design and graphics at school. And I looked into doing a course or a qualification in screen printing. Yeah. So you know what that is, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, it was very obscure, and you had to do a diploma thing of something, and it had screen printing in it, but there was no standalone. It took forever, and I'm like, fuck that. So I made some inquiries, and I found a guy who owned a business which did a big screen printing business, and I went and just rocked up. I was 18, I think, and I said, you don't know who I am, you got no idea. I said, I want to come and work for you for a month for free. I want to learn how to screen print. I'm honest, I'm reliable, I'll be here every day, I'll get your lunch, I'll wash your screens, I'll sweep the factory, I'll heat treat the clothes, I'll do whatever you want me to do. And he's like, nah, I'm good, thanks. And I kind of hassled him. And he goes, we'll be here tomorrow at 7:30. And after much negotiation, so I was there the next day at like 7 and I worked all day. And I by the end of the first week, he offered me a job. I didn't want a job because I didn't want to work for him. I wanted to have my own thing.
Yeah.
So I worked for him for a month or I don't know, maybe 3.5 weeks or something, but I was there for weeks. And I learned how to screen print. I learned how to use a carousel, which is the thing that you put tops on to do multicoloured prints. I learned how to heat treat things properly so that, that it'd be fast. I learned, I certainly didn't learn everything I needed to know, but I got a really good education. Then I went out a week later and I bought my own carousel, and I had contacts, which is a thing that you print, clothes on, and learnt where to get all my supplies, all my ink and or paint or whatever. And I built a little business called Classic Screen Printing, right? But I had clarity about it, and I just thought, well, how do I figure out, I'll go find out from someone who does it.
Yeah.
Because if he does it, he can teach me. But then at the same time, I'm going, well, there's got to be something in it for him. So what he gets is free labour. And he was cool. And he said to me when I left, any time, you come back and you can work for me.
Wow.
And so I think if you want something enough, you'll find a way.
Yeah.
You'll find a way. Assuming that you've got the talent to do that. If I said I want to be a world famous rock star, that's different because I can't sing, But we're talking about assuming that you have the potential or the ability to be able to do, I think most people, for example, who want a screen printing business, if they wanted, they could make it happen. Most people who wanted to have a lawn mowing round or a landscaping business with respect, it's not like you need to be a super talent for that. You just need to do the work, to be able to do videos and, you're quite gifted, but other people can learn to edit and produce and to put stuff together. It might not be Tommy Jacket quality, but they can still do it. Do you know what I mean?
So what about, this is not really off topic, it's kind of similar, but what about study? Like, what do you suggest? Do you think people should be going to university? Do you think people should go back to university? Because you've done that.
Yeah.
Just a little thing, I have never been, other than doing an 8-week personal training course, and I built quite a successful personal training business off the back of that because I did a lot of sessions and I loved it.
Yeah.
Video stuff, I've never had any formal training, but I make a shitload of videos and I love it, and I probably have a natural...
Well, and you're very good at it. So I think the answer is that there is no absolute answer for that. I think it's career and profession dependent. I will say that I think there's a great degree of academic snobbery, and this is coming from someone with a tertiary qualification who lectured in a tertiary institution. I think don't get a degree if you absolutely don't need one. Don't get one. I know personal trainers and people who work in the fitness industry who don't have the qualification I have, who are very, very good. And I know people with honours and master's degrees in exercise science who are not very good at exercise programming and working with people. And that's not to say one equals the other, but it's if you're going to, then it's certainly not a bad thing to do. But do you need to spend 3 or 4 or 5 years at university just because you want to have that bit of paper? In many cases, no. In some cases, of course you do. If you want to be a physio, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be an architect or whatever, yes, of course. But there are just so many. There are so many ways to create your own business and build your own brand and to find your own passion and to turn that into a thing. And now more than ever,
online,
everything, and everything is growing and evolving exponentially. Whereas you think about the changes between 1900 and 1950, it was still considerable with the advent of the car and all of those things. But you think about in the last 20 years. In the world, the way that everything from communication to business to medicine to technology broadly has just transformed and revolutionised the world. Like the world is just a different place. And so the way that we deliver and sell and purchase services and products is completely different. So this old paradigm of, well, you need a degree for this, you don't. I mean, I saw the other day on telly at school, kids are learning to write code.
Yeah.
They're 8.
So good.
They're 9. They're teaching them how to, I don't even know what that means, Tom.
Building websites, software.
And that's relevant. It's like, well, he doesn't know where Portugal is. Yeah, that's okay. It's probably not going to, he can look it up. Once he builds a website.
He can build an app to work it out.
Geography's good, but knowing where Portugal is probably not as important right now as him understanding how to use technology to his advantage.
Yeah, I almost wanted to say it's like lucky to be able to do, something that you're passionate about as a career. But I think I know for myself, I've tried a lot of things and thought they were the things that I wanted to be doing that were passions, like fitness and stuff. And then I was like, this sucks. I don't like all this other stuff that comes along with it. I'm changing. So I think it's like you've actually got to be prepared for it not to be all that it's cut out to be, even though you love it.
Of course.
Like if you're a rock climber, or if you love rock climbing, what are the avenues to go down to make money out of that?
For sure. What can you do with that? How can you...
I mean, you can work at a rock climbing centre and all those things, but you might love that. That's the thing. You might...
That's right.
I think we're in such a world where we're expected to achieve high success. Everyone wants to be rich or whatever. Or I don't think everyone wants to, but I think it's very handy if you've got a lot of money.
Everyone wants to be fulfilled and successful, whatever that means.
And so if you work at a rock climbing centre and the progression is only managing or owning one, that's not going to make a lot of money. Like, that might be okay for you. You might actually enjoy making less, but you're so bloody happy.
Yeah.
Which I knew. I was very happy PTing.
Yeah.
Great lifestyle. But then I just, the other stuff overrode that.
That's right. And there's the thing, and this is deep and philosophical, but it's rarely spoken about in terms of success in business is, and professional success is your emotional and your psychological bank account. It's like, well, so you're earning $1 million, but you're miserable. Yeah. Well, you're not succeeding. Yeah, you make lots of money, but you're not succeeding. And it doesn't need to be that or that. It can be all of it. But the thing is, it has never been more different. It has never been more varied. There are just more jobs, more career options. I'm working with a guy, or I coach a guy, big Josh Lenardowitz. Hello to Josh, who's Australia's best bodybuilder. So his job is bodybuilding. Yeah. Like, that's a weird job. So we talk about how can you leverage that. So it's a very unique situation. Well, you can go and compete in comps because you get paid to win or to place, and you get paid to travel around the world, and you get paid to endorse products, and you can coach people, and you can charge a fair bit now because you're a professional bodybuilder and you've got to, so that's all that. Even with that, you go, well, this is my passion. How do I make this a job? How do I turn this into an income producing thing so I don't have to get on the train and sit in the cubicle like Dad did, that he hated that for 50 years, and I think, back in the day, like, my dad was born in the Depression, and so they were just excited to have a job. Yeah. And understandably, if we were then, we'd be saying, wow, they've got a job, awesome. Whereas now, we don't want a job, we want the perfect job with the perfect skills and the perfect conditions and the perfect rewards, and so that the psychology around work has changed a lot.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Well, what would be good maybe is for our listeners and or viewers to chime in and tell us about, are you doing what you love? If you are doing what you love, what is it? If you're not doing what you love, what do you think you would like to do? What's your dream career? Yeah. Maybe you've created something. Maybe you're in the middle of creating something. Or
just tell us your passion. Yeah. And then, because I always go through feeds and see other people. So if there's someone else within the feed that, has a business around that and can go, hey, come help out. I'm always looking for people to come help me out with video stuff. So it's like, you've got all these people that watch this video. So
if you've got awesome computer skills, tech skills, and you want to work for free, be Tommy's personal slave.
You'll be worked hard.
You will indeed. All right, mate. Well, you have a beautiful day.
Thanks, buddy. Cut.